everybody. I'm back. Today is December 13th, 2019. Episode I don't remember, but I already know that the episode name is going to be called Patience because I've had to be patient for a lot of things the last couple of months. This is the Amnicon Studio podcast. My name is Marcy. If you're watching this for the first time, thank you for checking me out. This podcast is about all my crafty stuff, things that I do around my little homestead, chickens, now bunnies, garden stuff, and depending on the season. So it's been a while. It has been a while. I can't remember the last time I recorded, and that time it was delayed because sickness was running through the house, and my son was constantly sick, then I was sick. For the most part, my husband was unscathed, lucky him. And then Mother Nature decided that she needed to pay a little bit of attention to my area of the country. We've had three, I don't know what you'd want to call them, but we've had 3 snowstorms in the last 2.5, 3 weeks. We had snow right before Thanksgiving, right after Thanksgiving, and we've had another foot plus of snow dumped on us earlier this week, and another 3 inches or so dumped on us yesterday. And it's been a real treat moving all that snow around, and yeah, I'm being only slightly sarcastic. I have show notes. There's been, well, let's see. I'm a little bit flustered because once again, I've got words. I've got stage fright again. And if you've been watching any of my previous videos, you'll see that the background is looking a little different. I'm back in my craft room. I don't know if this is temporary or permanent, but when I started setting up to record today, which is usually in the kitchen at the table, the lighting was awful. It just was horrible. Either like part of my face was blown out, or shadows were too dark. It was awful, and I kept trying different settings and bringing lamps in and adjusting things, and it just wasn't working. So then I wasn't sure if it was the camera on my laptop that was looking so awful or not. So I am recording this on my phone, and this is the first time I've recorded anything like this on it. So the audio may sound different. I don't know how to do anything about that, but I do hope that the video is much more improved because this is supposed to have an HD camera. I'm not even sure where to start, to be honest. It's been so long. I guess I'll start with a finished object. Ta-da! I might not look like much of anything, but I did finish my Leah sweater from the Knitty.com website. Knit on number 11 needles, 8 millimeters. Yarn was Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Superwash Bulky in a Garnet Heather colorway. As you can see, I have been wearing this thing to death, and it's already starting to show. Where I love the sweater, I hate the pattern. I'll never make another sweater from this pattern again. I knit it to spec, and my sleeves, I would say, are probably too long, so a lot of times I wear them rolled up. Here's the detail on the wrist, the little cable cross. The length is correct, but because I'm used to things being longer, it feels kind of short, and as you can tell, I'm wearing a shirt underneath it because it's kind of holey. But I I love the sweater. I'm wearing it several times a week. I don't even care what if it looks good or not. It is super warm and comfortable. So if you are maybe even an advanced knitter, I would not recommend it because the pattern, I've said in previous episodes, it's kind of, you have to be kind of intuitive about it, except for when you don't have to be. It's just a poorly written pattern, in my opinion. Things I would do different, I would have added more length to it. I was sort of hoping that the superwash wool would grow a little bit, and it's not, which is fine. I'll just remember to always wear something underneath it. Let's see, I think the last episode I was working on a pair of Nanner socks by Wendy Johnson. Yarn was yarn I dyed myself, yellow yarn, and I actually ripped it in front of you. Well, it looks like I haven't done anything with it. I did restart the sock, and I got past the ankle. I'm trying to think now. I made all the foot, and I got to where I needed to turn the heel. And I don't know what was going on, if it was just me or if there's something goofy with the pattern that I just wasn't seeing or what. But I had the hardest time with the heel. And I finally got it, and then I had to turn the heel, and it just kind of went to pot. It wasn't knit even. It was kind of crooked. I'm not sure how to, like, the little cup part wasn't right in the middle of the heel. And I decided to heck with it. I am done with this pattern. I'm not gonna knit it again. I ripped up the pattern. It's a free pattern. I mean, if I decide down the road that I want it again, I can go to Wendy Johnson's website and download it again. But for waiting all that time, it was kind of a disappointer because the lace pattern, once I got going with it, it was really pretty. It was turning out really nice, but I just did not want to have to deal with the heel anymore, especially with this yarn, which is Knit Picks. It's the dye your own kind, and I'm sure it's not superwash. I don't remember. I bought this so long ago. But the more I was ripping it, the more it was getting fuzzy and frayed and kind of sticky, and I'm going to need to think of something else to do with this yarn. I'm not sure, 'cause I just know it was not meant to be the Nanner socks that I wanted it to be. So I've got it tucked up on my shelf for now until I think of what to do with it. Let's see, I haven't been doing a lot of knitting since it started snowing. I've been having to do a lot of snow plowing and shoveling, and we burn with wood, so I've been hauling a lot of wood in too, and all of it just kind of wreaks havoc on my hands and my wrists. So I've been trying to give them breaks because they're also my bread and butter. I do a lot of typing at work. But I do have one vanilla sock on the needles. Let's see. It is living in a bag that I bought from one of my friends. Her name is Sarah, and she once upon a time had an Etsy site, and I don't know if it's up anymore. But I have been carrying this around with this sock. And this sock yarn is Deep Stash. I probably bought it 10 years ago because it was from my local yarn store, and it is now closed. I don't remember how long ago it closed, but it was when, I know this would have been from when I first started getting into sock knitting. It is Nashua Hand Knits, Best Foot Forward. Let's see if that comes through. Well, it is this colorway. I haven't been doing much knitting on it. I am on the foot of the first sock, and I like how the patterning's coming out. And I'm using two circular needles. A little bit of a brain cramp there. 2 circular needles, my usual size, 64 stitches on 2.5 millimeter needles. My stitch markers are from, the Advent calendar from Forbidden Fiber Co. from last year. It's a little sleigh, and the first one was a little stocking. I'm trying to mimic the method of sock knitting that I did on my last vanilla sock, where rather than having the sock needles going like this, this probably isn't going to make much sense. The decreases were in the middle of the needle rather than on the edges. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I'm doing a couple rows here and there. I don't know when I started them. I have been horrible about notes. In fact, I don't even remember when I finished this sweater. November. That's all I remember. It was in November. So right before Thanksgiving. I think maybe the weekend before. I sent pictures to a friend on Facebook when I was done, because she was kind of helping me intuit some of the pattern at one point. So I wanted to share with her that I finally got it done, and I had taken a picture of it drying on the floor in front of my wood stove, and she said something like, fix the arms and make sure that they're the same length. Ask me how I know. I had to laugh because I didn't even realize that I had one like tucked way up here and one stretched way far out. Yeah, it was crazy. I had to laugh, and then I fixed it. Let's see. I'm not exactly sure how, but I kind of got bitten by the cross stitch bug again. I think it might have been a YouTube, not so much podcaster, but YouTube videos. If you're familiar with the Fat Porter Shop, she, Kimberly Jolly, which Jolly is a great last name. She has weekly videos for cross stitching, floss tube, and for quilting. And I kind of got to watching the cross stitch one because she kept mentioning something on the quilting videos. And I kind of fell down the rabbit hole with the floss tube. I have been watching almost all floss tube the last couple of weeks. And I have a few, I know there are a lot of floss tubers out there, and right now I think I only have a handful of them. Right now let's see, I'm watching Java Girl Stitches, I think is her name. She is very sweet. She's got 3 boys, just a few years older than my son, so it's kind of funny and cringy to hear what she heard, the antics of her boys, because I think this is what I have to look forward to. But it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then I'm watching Brenda and the Serial Stitcher. They only have 7 episodes out, so I'm almost caught up with them. And those two are kind of a hoot to watch because they really feed off of each other, and you can tell they've been friends forever, and they laugh a lot, and I like that. And a third one, I think her name, she goes by Rolodex online on Instagram. She's a mom whose living over in, I want to say Japan. Her husband got a job over, a job offer over in Japan, so, you know, the whole family went over, and they're there for however long, but I just started watching her episodes, so I don't have a full idea on what she is, but she just tells it like it is, and that's kind of refreshing too. And she has, the few projects that I've seen that she's working on are really cute, and I think that looks like so much fun, but I don't know if they would fit in my decor. Anyways, so to bring it back, Kimberly's, the Fat Quarter Shop's floss tube, they mentioned a bunch of free patterns in one episode, and one was by Priscilla Blaine of the Housewives of Cross Stitch. And as soon as I saw it, I thought, I have to make that one. Wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, but I knew I had to make it because, well, oh, it's chicken. It's a chicken, and if I knew how to reverse, I would, but I don't know how to do that on the phone. But it says Joy. It's called Chicken Joy. It's by Priscilla Blaine. It's a free pattern. You can find it over on her blog, which I think might be priscillablaine2000.blogspot.com or priscilla2000.blogspot.com. Link will be in my show notes at amniconstudio.blogspot.com. So I made that, and I was so I was really happy with that turned out. I did all the called for colors on 14 count Aida cloth. There was one that was a fancy floss, which I didn't know that at the time. So I just substituted that one with a blue DMC. It's all DMC threads. And after that, I signed up to participate in a swap. And I'm looking for that, and I can't find it. I can't find it. I made a little ornament. Hold on. I'm going to have to stop the video and come back. Okay. All I had to do was look down at the floor, and there it was. This one I made for a Christmas swap in one of my Facebook groups. And I don't think the girl that I'm sending this to watches this. And even if she does, she probably isn't going to see this until after it's been sent out. So this is the ornament I made for her. And I'm trying to think of the design. I think there was 2 designers on this one. One of them was Kimberly Jolly of the Fat Quarter Shop. It's a free pattern over on the Aurifil website, I think. You'd think after all this time I'd be more prepared, but I'm not. I'm looking. Oh, I found the pattern. Hold on. The pattern is called Sparkly Snowflakes. So maybe I didn't get it off the Aurifil website, but I must have. Well, in any case, I used 14 count Aida cloth, none of the called for colors because it was calling for Aurifil, and I have no idea where to buy any of that locally. So I just used the colors from my Chicken Joy, and I think it turned out really great. This is also my first time making an ornament with the kind of like pillow backing. I made a little pillow to put into it so it'll stay fluffy. Oh, there we go. I actually sat on that ornament for quite a while before I got up the nerve to cut the Aida cloth and make the ornament, because it took me a long time to make this, to do all the stitching for that, and I was so nervous that I was gonna wreck it, and I didn't want to have to make another one because it felt like it took me a long time to make this one. But I'm really pleased with how it turned out. So with all that, then I thought, I feel good enough to get back into cross stitching and working on my Ever After sampler, which you guys have not seen for a really long time, probably close to a year. Happily Ever After by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I got as far as the borders and making the title, and I never quite finished that first block. I've learned a lot from watching FlossTube. The big part of why I stopped cross stitching this was issues with seeing the holes and the stitches. And watching the video for Fat Quarter Shop, I learned just get a really good, strong crafting light. So I invested in a OttLite from Joann Fabrics when they got their 40% off sale, and I really like that light. That light has been great. And one of my friends suggested getting a pair of cheater reader glasses, you know, the magnifying ones, and that makes such a difference. I can't believe just a little bit of magnification, what that will do for stitching. It's just a big deal. Oh, and I'm sure, as we move into the next thing, I did some quilting, and I made 2 works in progress bags. This one is one of my favorite chicken patterns that I see up at Hobby Lobby. I've made a few different things with that fabric because I love it so much. And this was a tutorial off the Fat Quarter Shop. I'm kind of a Fat Quarter Shop fan now, I guess you'd say. So that is holding my Happily Ever After project. And I made a second one. If I was nice, I would take all the stuff out. Because, you know, when you pick up an old hobby, you got to buy all the new things again, right? Yeah. So this one is cardinals. And the front is my first time working with vinyl. And it was not that hard. As it turns out, I had a Teflon foot and a foot kit that my husband bought me when he bought me my sewing machine a few years back. So it was really easy. The tutorial was super easy to follow. I think I had it like on replay like 3 times as I was going through the steps, and then stopping, but it was really easy to follow. So easy a caveman can do it, if you remember those commercials. So this fabric is from Hobby Lobby as well, and I will probably make a few more of these. So I didn't realize at the time when I was making it that these are, I guess, technically works in progress bags for cross stitching, but I could see myself carrying knitting projects in these too, and then just being able to see, oh, that's my hat project, or that's my sock project. And my friend who made this bag, I told her that she really missed out. Because when she made these, I don't think there was the market for the vinyl on the front. And now that I've been watching FlossTube, that's all I'm seeing is these bags with the vinyl in front. So, I don't know. Gotta check my notes. Let's see. Oh, I'm kind of already into the quilting, so I showed you my 2 works in progress bags. I made them both the week of Thanksgiving. I was really careful with making the first one, and the second one I just kind of winged it, so that one's a little bit smaller and maybe not as neatly made as the first one. And then I made a table runner that I'm going to be giving as a gift. And this was all fabric that I had in my stash, and I happened to be flipping through the TV channels, and I stopped on PBS because there was a quilting show on. I don't know the name of the quilting show. It was so seldom that I'm actually watching live TV. Anyways, I'd seen it, it caught my eye, I stopped, they were talking quilting, and they mentioned a specific quilt block, and I thought, that looks really pretty, and I think it's called Mother's Choice. So I went and looked online for directions on how to make one of these, and I picked out the fabric, and I'd like to say I whipped it up in no time. I didn't. I took my time with it, and I have no complaints. I think it turned out really well. I used gold thread. I'm not sure if that would show up in the... No, probably not. But I used a gold thread because I thought it would match the gold in the green fabric here. And then I just quilted in the ditch. Nothing fancy, just quilting in the ditch. And then here is my back, which was more fabric I had in stash. I was probably going to use that fabric to make a project bag, but I decided that this would be a better use of it. And hopefully this will get out in the mail this weekend, along with the swap package I have for the swap in my Facebook group. I do think that's it for all my crafting stuff. Holy cow. I was so worried that I was gonna run like 45 minutes long on this, and I don't even think I'm halfway to that. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, yeah. I guess it just goes to show when you don't have much crafting to do. I've been doing a little bit of baking and cooking, and I can't remember any of the new recipes that I tried. I made something for work for Halloween. Yeah, I had asked my friend for a recipe suggestion for something that was gluten-free, I think it was, and it was banana. It was bananas, I think peanut butter. I'd have to check my email to find the link to the recipe, but it turned out really well. Everybody who tried it liked it. I brought some over to my mother-in-law and let her try it, and she liked it, and I think I left half of what I had left with her and threw them in the freezer because I made them in little mini muffin pans. So just like little bites rather than a loaf of bread or cupcakes, which I think is what the recipe originally called for. And I would definitely make them again, as they're sweet but not too sweet, as they're made with honey. And then the other night I remember, I think it was from wholesomeyum.com, chicken ranch casserole, and it was all homemade, made from scratch. It was a keto meal. Make your own ranch dressing, with mayo and sour cream, and they called for almond milk, but I didn't use the almond milk. I didn't do any of that. I just kept it with the sour cream and the mayo and the spices and stirred it into the chicken and the cheese and the bacon. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I measured the cheese with my heart rather than a measuring cup, and it turned out really good. And oh, I put mushrooms on top of half of it, and that mushrooms added something to it as well. Let's see, I haven't been reading anything. I think any time that I've been sitting down and I've just been wanting to decompress, I've been watching YouTube. I just remembered something else that I wanted to share with you guys, and I don't know why I forgot when I'm actually literally surrounded by it right now. I'm working on a quilt. Earlier in the year, I bought a few quilt kits, but I don't want to make them just yet. So I bought some fabric for a practice quilt to make sure I have my cutting skills, because I'm still, not everything's accurate. But I've got like a pile of the quilt squares here, 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 and half done blocks behind me. This is the Friendship Stars Boundless 1930s Revival Quilt by Krista Watson. So there's like Irish Chain, I believe it's called, and then Star, I think those are the Friendship Stars. And let's see, my fabrics that I used other than white is, let's see, there's that, green, kind of a pink, another yellow, but that's got dots, polka dots, lime, cherries, pineapples, and green polka dots. And I've been working on a little bit at a time, a couple times a week. And I kind of stalled out on it around the last few weeks. I'd started it up around Thanksgiving, and then I set a bunch of stuff aside. And it's only recently, again, I've kind of reclaimed my craft room. I had tidied everything up because we're gonna have guests, and I needed to move things around in order for the air mattress to fit. Then hunting season started, and we were leaving our hunting stuff in here so it wasn't picking up smells from the rest of the house. And I think this last weekend I said, okay, I'm ready to have my craft room back, and I've been working on this stuff a little bit here and there. In fact, let me grab you one of the squares. Let's see. I've got it 2/3 done, but that's what one of them looks like, and I've been checking my piecing for accuracy and see if everything lines up, and for the most part everything is lining up as it should be, which makes me really happy. But I've got a few pieces that the fabric, let's see, it's the white. I must have been doing something when I was ironing, maybe, because the white is a little whiter than I need it to be, and so I've been having to remember to put it soggy bottom down, I think it was called, in a video I was watching. So the where is it, the dog feeders, feed dogs, will kind of grab it a little bit faster than what the top of the presser foot will, so it kind of evens everything out, and it's working, and I'm glad for that. I have not had to do any ripping yet, except for when I accidentally put on one of these small line pieces on backwards by mistake. I'm trying to do the chain piecing thing, and I think it would work a lot better for me if I hadn't started it, then stopped it, put everything away, did half of it, and just like left everything. That's my life lately, my crafting life, I should say. It's start, stop, start, stop. And yeah. So that is all my crafting stuff. I wanted to get this out before too much more time went by, because I miss chatting with you guys. And I will say, watching all the floss tubes, in a way, I kind of feel like I found my awkward, gawky tribe, because we all just want to share our love of crafting. And I don't know if they're like me and they don't have anybody crafty nearby that they can get together with and chat with about all this stuff and be enthusiastic. I mean, I love everybody's enthusiasm in FlossTube. It's really refreshing. I mean, they ooh and ah over all the patterns and the pretty flosses, and I've always thought that knitters and crocheters had nothing could compare to them when it came to like buying stuff to keep in stash for a rainy day, or for down the road, or for patterns not found yet. Oh, these cross stitchers, they've got us beat, knitters. Oh, there's one, I don't remember who it is. They have like a whole wall behind them that's just skeins upon skeins upon skeins of beautiful embroidery flosses. And then they talk about the different kind of fabrics that they have and how they have them organized and stuff. And I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. I didn't realize that there was more of us out there like that than the knitters. So I'm sure I should have some kind of house cleaning notes, but I can't think of anything right now. I'm not sure when this video is going to go out, because my day is flying by faster than what I thought it would be. It's just crazy. I'm not sure if I'll have another video out by the end of the year, because life is crazy busy. And we're getting up on Christmas, and you know how that goes. I mean, it's just gonna be a whirlwind. A dervish. Is that even an appropriate word? A dervish? But it's gonna be busy, and I'm sure it's not gonna slow down until sometime mid-January. So, but I will record as soon as I can, and hopefully I won't have quite... I don't know why I thought I had such a backlog of projects to show you guys, because I haven't done much of anything, which is kind of sad when I think of last year. I did 50-some different things, and this year, probably not even half of that. And of course, I've been awful about record keeping, which I need to rectify that, because I like to know when I started stuff and ended it and what my thoughts were on it. Because I do keep a paper journal now of that stuff. So I have something to look forward to, or to look back on, just in case. Although I rarely make anything more than once, unless it's vanilla socks or dishcloths. And I always have all my go-to patterns for that stuff. Okay, I feel my voice dropping a little bit, so I am going to let you go. Thank you for watching. Show notes will be at amnaconstudio.blogspot.com, and I promise I will write ones for this episode. And happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whichever faith you celebrate. I wish you a lot of celebration in it. I'm so PC. Or un-PC, however it goes. So until next time, stay crafty. Bye.